We, of course, begin with the historic indictment of FBI Director, former James Comey.
Since the Watergate scandal more than 50 years ago, presidents have refrained from interfering directly in criminal prosecutions by the just torment.
This is a quote. Mr. Biden confided to his inner circle that he believed former President Donald J. Trump was a threat to democracy and should be prosecuted.
I can't handle the absolute hypocrisy and the defense. Lawrence O'Donnell. Now, the phrase trumped up charges has new meaning. Then,
when Alvin Bragg graduated from Harvard College, the school newspaper, the Harvard Crimson, ran a profile of him. And the title of that profile in his last week of college was The Anointed One.
The Anointed One.
I want to remind everyone, Joe Biden's fingerprints are on all 4 criminal indictments of President Trump.
There was universal pressure on Merrick Garland to go after Donald Trump.
So far, Merrick Garland is failing the United States of America.
This isn't complicated. It is ridiculous how long this is taking.
President Biden is right. What is Merrick Garland waiting for?
I don't think there's anything funny about it.
Boo effing who?
I'm a young man.
He cried for himself. He wasn't sorry about what he said about MAGA breeding the Charlie Kirk shooter, which was a lie. And the reason I know is because he didn't correct the record, nor did he apologize.
Forgiveness from a grieving widow. It touched me deeply. And if there's anything we should take from this tragedy to carry forward, I hope it can be that.
The reason he's speaking about Erica Kirk's call for forgiveness is because he wants everyone to forgive him.
He should have been crying through his monologues when he was talking about this a couple of days after it happened, not after he got in trouble. It's sort of strange to see him crying now and acting as though this is an act of bravery.
Jimmy Kimmel didn't shed tears over Charlie Kirk. He cried for himself because he almost lost his precious show. That's why he was able to work up that emotion into his voice because, oh my God, I'm not going to be on this stage under the Klieg lights anymore.
What he said wasn't a joke. He said MAGA's trying to pretend that it wasn't one of them who did this. That wasn't a joke. He was serious about that. And then his apology was, oh, I didn't mean to do that, rather than I'm sorry for what I did.
The left had no problem whatsoever with Democrats pressuring the FCC to get programming the way they wanted. In 2018, a dozen Democrat senators called on the agency to investigate Sinclair. All these same people preaching free speech loved it.
Just how prevalent is this conservative bias that creeps into coverage?
Well, it comes from the top down, Brian. It comes straight from corporates.
In 2023, the FCC determined it would be in the public interest to move forward with a petition that sought to revoke a local Fox broadcast TV station's license because of content that aired on Fox News, a cable channel, which the FCC does not regulate. In 2021, Democrats in Congress launched a campaign to pressure cable companies to drop Fox, to drop Newsmax, to drop OAN on the grounds that they were, quote, right-wing. 2 Democratic members of Congress sent letters to DirecTV questioning their carriage of channels that spread misinformation. They have zero problem with involving the government in censoring speech, including the FCC.
Both sides are hypocrites. Both sides want to use the government for their own ideology. The difference is the so-called balanced, fair media is completely one-sided. And so you look at the coverage of 2 of our favorite media reporters, Brian Stelter and Oliver Darcy. Their coverage of that litany of Democratic moves that you read is go, you go. When the left does it, it's cheered on by the so-called objective media. When the right does it, it's seen as villainous.
Matthew Dowd. He was on MSNBC literally moments after we found out that Charlie was shot.
The FBI Director, Kash Patel, just tweeted the following: "We're closely monitoring reports of the tragic shooting involving Charlie Kirk."
And here is what he said.
We don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration. He's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures, constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech.
That is so infuriating. As Charlie is lying there struggling for his life, the news that he had died had not yet hit. That's where he went.
You can't stop with these sort of awful thoughts you have and then saying these awful words and not expect awful actions to take place.
Brought it on himself. The hateful words. You know where those are going to lead. Matthew Dowd goes on with Katie Couric.
But I also think about the chilling effect this has on other commentators who are going to be, be careful what they say.
They're reluctant to now invite certain guests on air. They're reluctant now to say certain things that they would normally say. They're reluctant now to sort of book programming in a way that reveals what they want to reveal because they're scared.
I'm really surprised at MSNBC. I got to be honest with you, Matthew, the way they handled it. And it is really bizarre and surprising and disappointing. And I'm sorry this happened to you.
Oh my God, what are you saying? This is exactly what should have happened. He said something absolutely wrong, insulting, and incendiary. As a very prominent, conservative 31-year-old was dying. And they knew it. Of course he needed to be fired. What do you mean you're surprised? You're all insensitive assholes. You're going to need to be more careful. That's right. That's exactly right. The message you received from the firing is spot on.
Somebody would want me to take a picture or to hug their child.
It's Kamala Harris. I think we're too hard on her. She's the gift that keeps on giving.
She doesn't know it's comic relief, which kind of makes it even funnier.
And someone in the back would hand that baby over through the crowd.
Up to you?
People who would
bless the baby.
But pass the baby.
See?
And then pass the baby back.
Pass the baby back.
And I don't know, there was something about that when it would happen. I mean, I could get very emotional about it right now, but I believe that we should always feel that, the children of the community are the children of the community.
Yeah.
You got that?
You can create an environment where people feel safe and feel a sense of communal responsibility and community.
Yeah.
She says nothing. Communal responsibility and community. And the baby, Maureen, the baby. And how about that guy deserves an Oscar?
And there was just something about that.
And seeing the baby travel from the parent.
Yes, and the parent trusted the stranger that was next to them, who trusted the next person, and all of them as though it was their own child.
Yes.